Hey guys, BJ with Very Basic Bible. Move my speaker back here, my microphone up here. Yeah, there we go. All right, got my headphones. Gonna keep going in Ruth chapter 4. Ruth has 17 chapters. No, it's got four chapters. Yeah, there might be 17 verses in chapter 4. Let's see. Share screen. My boss just texted me. All right, here we go. Da, 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 da. Heck yeah. Gonna pause for 1 second. Be right back. Hey, so Ruth chapter 4. All right, guys. Here we go. You can see it's right where I left off yesterday. I recorded yesterday. Furthermore, Ruth chapter 4, verse 10. Furthermore, who is I? Boaz. Yeah. This will maybe get them creative juices flowing. This will get the memory flowing. Whenever I'm trying to remember something, I do it sometimes. Then when I come back to it, I try to make myself remember it. That forces me to like think through it, work on my memory, helps me learn it better. Yeah. Here we go. Furthermore, I, Boaz, have acquired Ruth the Moabitus. She's a lady. She's from Moab. She is Moabitus. She is the Moabitus, I guess, because she's the only one that came from Moab. The only Ruth that came from Moab in the village. And look down here. Furthermore, I'm going to show you. Let's look at some difference in Bible translations. Furthermore, I have acquired Ruth the Moabitess, the widow of Mahlon, to be my wife. Okay. Also, so furthermore, also Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, I have bought to be my wife. Look at that. I have acquired, but then, okay, furthermore, I have acquired. But then you got also Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, I have bought. Bought and acquired are different, but also you can see I have acquired is like right away in the sentence. I have bought in the ESV is after the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon. And here they have Ruth the Moabitess. Here just also Ruth the Moabite. So let's read it in ESV, like the ESV. Furthermore, Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, I have acquired. Let's see. Also, Ruth the Moabite, the widow, I have bought. Okay. Oh, to be my wife. Here we go. Ruth to be my wife. Okay. Let's look at over here. I also acquire. Oh, so he got to bought immediately. I have acquired. I also acquire. Okay. Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, I also acquire. I have acquired. Ruth the Moabite, Ruth the Moabitus, the widow of Mahlon, as my wife, to be my wife. And here we got another, you see that comma? So furthermore, comma. Over here, no comma. I also, comma, no. I also acquired Ruth the Moabitus, comma. The widow of Mahlon, comma, as my wife, comma. Here, furthermore, comma. I'm starting to get mixed up. I said also in the NASB. Why am I pointing this all out? Why are we going over the different translations? Because you are like, hey, I understand Ruth now. Oh, I get it now. Oh, I got this down. Then you'll go pick up some Bible, like the Good News translation or the NRSV or or another one besides the NASB, which I've mostly been reading from, and you'll read it and you'll go, wait, this isn't the same at all. It won't hit you the same. You will be used to reading the NASB, and the memories of the stuff I've said and the stuff that you've learned will come from the exact wording from the NASB. The exact wording from the NASB is what will make your memories come. So whenever you read, and with the land, I have acquired Ruth, the Moabite widow of Mahlon, to be my wife. It's similar, but it's different. And you'll get, instead of the memories of the Bible study, instead of like the good feeling you kind of get, hey, I remember this story about Ruth. Instead of that, you'll get, wait, the land? Wait, he's acquired the Moabitus, I thought. Wait, where's Moabitus? Wait, why is this? That'll kind of happen. But then if you get past that and you get to being able, you get past the initial shock in your mind, that will naturally, it will just happen. You're not going to try. It'll just happen. It'll just happen. You'll get confused because you're reading a different translation than the NASB, which you're used to hearing me read. When you get past that initial shock, you'll go, wait. Moabite widow of Mahlon. Okay, I remember that. The land. Okay, I don't remember land, but he did get land, like in a earlier chapter. I mean, earlier verse. Okay, I've acquired. Okay, acquired or bought. One of the translation. Okay, yeah. That'll start going through your head, and you'll be kind of doing Bible study all over again. We need to get past the initial shock of, wait, this Bible's different. We need to learn to recognize in the different wording, the same truth. Different wording, same story. Some places, the different wording, especially in prophets in the Old Testament, sometimes a different wording does seem to make a big difference. But in general, 99% of the time, usually, no, I say this, 100% of the time, it does not give you different theology or different practical application for your life. It doesn't change God. It doesn't change what you should do for God. It doesn't like make the story, wait, so did this king go and rule for 30 more years of idol worship and then God destroyed them all? Or did this king rule for 2 more years and then his son ruled for 3 years and everybody was happy? You're not going to get that big of a difference, you know. Nothing like that's going to happen, don't worry. Okay. I have acquired Ruth the Moabitus, the widow of Mahlon, to be my wife in order, why to be his wife? In order to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance. Who is the deceased? Mahlon. If Orpah from chapter 1, let's go back to Ruth, chapter 1. Ruth 1, let's do this. Now it came about in the days when the judges governed, that there was a famine in the land, and a man of Bethlehem in Judah went to reside in the land of Moab with his wife and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech. Remember it. I'm going to go over here real quick. Now, we got different Bible translations: New King James, Berean Study Bible, New Revised Standard Version, the Catholic Public Domain Version. I'm not sure what the P stands for. There's a little P, right? I don't know. New Revised Standard, Catholic Public Domain, New International Readers Version, the World English Bible, and the Everyday Reader Bible. Easy to read version. Okay, so we got a few different translations. I'm going to start with the Berean Study Bible. Moreover, I have acquired, moreover, instead of also or furthermore, it says moreover. I have acquired Ruth the Moabitus, Mahlon's widow, as my wife. Okay, Mahlon. And the name of his wife, okay, the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. Here we go, guys. We go up here. You are with verse 9. At this, Boaz said to the elders and all the people, you are witnesses today that I am buying from Naomi all that belonged to Elimelech, Chilion, and Mahlon. Now it came about in the day, verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 1. Now it came about in the days when the judges governed that there was a famine in the land. A man of Bethlehem in Judah went to reside in the land of Moab with his wife and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. Right here. Naomi, Elimelech, Chilion, Mahlon. Pretty cool. Okay, there we go. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. Okay, so he died, so the 2 sons get to take the inheritance. Good. Why then, if the 2 sons will get the inheritance, why does he need to, where is it at? To raise up the name of the deceased through his inheritance, so that his name will not disappear from among his brothers. Wait, but Elimelech's 2 sons get the inheritance. Mahlon's widow, that means Mahlon is dead. Didn't Mahlon have sons? Elimelech had 2 sons. Did Mahlon have 2 sons? Now, y'all are probably like, y'all remember the story, but very basic Bible. We're going to go back. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem and Judah. They went to the country of Moab and remained there. Verse 3, but Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. These took Moabite wives. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth. They lived there about 10 years, and both Mahlon and Chilion died, so that the woman was left without her 2 sons and her husband. It doesn't say they didn't have sons. I'm going to keep reading, because what if they did have sons? It just says that Mahlon and Chilion died, and it was just a lady and Orpah and Ruth, but it doesn't say that there were no kids, there were no sons. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law. So it doesn't mention her daughters-in-law and their children. Okay. To return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the fields of Moab that the Lord had visited his people and given them food back in Israel. So she set out from the place where she was with her 2 daughters-in-law, and they went on to the way to return to the land of Judah. So she went out with her 2 daughters-in-law and their family, their sons, their daughters. I'm not sure. My cat wants to hop in my lap. Okay, he hopped in the chair beside me. Got to pet him. Oh. Did you hear that? Oh. He's like, don't pet me. Oh, please pet me. Like both at the same time. Okay. But Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, go, return each of you to her mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant that you may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. So go to your mom's house and live with her, and hopefully you'll find a husband and live with him. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voices and wept. And they, Orpah and Ruth, said to Naomi, no, we will return with you to your people. But Naomi said, turn back, my daughters. So still no mention of kids and children. Maybe Naomi and Orpah, Ruth. Maybe Ruth and Orpah had daughters, but since the daughters don't carry on the family name, since they don't get the inheritance. But it hasn't said anything about them. It sounds like they're childless, It hasn't told us yet, though. It's something we assume, but it hasn't told us. Why will you go with me, Orpah and Ruth? Have I yet sons in my womb that they may become your husbands? Am I gonna have baby? They may become your husbands, so then you may have kids. No. Look, the Lord may grant you find rest, each of you in your house of her husband. Return to her mother's house, back in your own land. Go find husbands in your own land. Your mom will find you some husbands. Don't worry. But hey, I don't have sons in my womb that they may become your husbands. Turn back, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, even if I should have husbands this night and should bear sons, it's all about sons over here, to raise up the name of the deceased through his inheritance. Yep. Ruth needs a son to raise up the deceased, Mahlon. and to carry on Naomi. Naomi wants to carry on her family line too. She had sons. They didn't have sons. Family line deceased, gone. So even if Naomi and Orpah, let's say Ruth and Orpah, let's say they did have children with Mahlon and Chilion, but they were daughters. Well, why didn't they do the Zelophehad thing? You remember yesterday? They could have done this. Zelophehad. I say remember yesterday because that's when the video was. But remember, like, oh, my bad. Z-L-O-P-E. It's still not there. Zelophehad. New American Standard Bible. Okay. Zelophehad. Let's read this one more time. Okay. We read it in the video prior. Now, Naomi could have been like, hey, Zelophehad, my daughter, Ruth, should inherit the land. Well, there we go. The land would put. Now, Ruth would still need a son. But what if Ruth already had daughters and we're just not told about them? We're not told of. We're very much made to think, it seems, that Ruth had no sons, daughters, no children, period. Or are we? Okay. Then the daughter is Zelophehad, the son of Heifer, the daughters of Zelophehad. Zelophehad's daughters, son of Zelophehad, the son of Heifer, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh. Manasseh is one of the 12 tribes of Israel. He's got a legitimate claim. He didn't marry him. He's not a foreigner that became an Israelite. He's not like some dude that's like, no, I need to, let me find my birth records back to Abraham. No. Jacob had 12 sons. One of them's name is Manasseh. This dude goes straight back to Manasseh. He is legit. No questions, The families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, came forward. The daughters of Zelophehad came forward. And these are the names of the daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They stood before Moses, before Eleazar, the priest, before the leaders and all the congregation at the entrance of the tent of meeting, saying, that kind of sounds like the whole thing over here. Boaz went up to the gate. The close relative, come aside, friend, sit down here. So he came aside and sat down. So you got there at the gate. You got Boaz. You got the close relative. Okay. Then he took 10 men of the elders of the city. So you got elders of the city. You got all the people. So they sat down. Okay. So they're doing all that. And down here, where is it? Way down here. Boaz said to the elders and the people, and they're in the gate. So, right? So over here, they stood before Moses, before Eleazar, before the leaders, all the congregation. Where? At the entrance to the tent of meeting. They didn't have a gate around a city. They stood at the entrance to the tent of meeting. Okay. So they're trying to make this official. Now, why couldn't Naomi have done this? Ruth is my daughter. She should have an inheritance. Listen to this. Our father died in the wilderness. The daughters of Zelophehad. Father died in the wilderness. Yet he was not among those who gathered together against the Lord in the group of Korah, but he died in his own sin. He had no sons. Not only does he go back to Manasseh, but hey, he didn't die because of the rebellion against Moses. He just died in his own sins, and he had no sons. Why should the name of our father be withdrawn from among the family simply because he had no son? Over here, I've also acquired Ruth the Moabite to be my wife, to maintain the dead man's name on his inheritance, in order that the name of the dead man may not be cut off from his kindred and from the gate. So maybe Ruth could have said, hey, the property's mine now. Naomi could have said, hey, I bequeath it to you. Zelophehad's daughter. Now, people would have said, well, wait, Zelophehad went straight back to Manasseh, to Jacob, and Zelophehad, he just died in his own sins. He didn't die because of the rebellion. They could have tried to say that and said, hey, this Ruth lady, she's a Moabitess. She ain't even from Israel. But everybody did see how moral and upright Ruth was. They did see that. Boaz was like, dang, you're good. The people spoke kindly of her. They were like, this woman's awesome. So, that did happen. Well, they said like she has been working. We get the sense that the text tries to tell us how hardworking, dedicated, how she obeyed her mother-in-law, how she was kind, stuff like that. So why could Naomi could have done that, You know, if Ruth did have, that's my hair. It's almost to my eyes. And then I move it. And there's my forehead. I need a haircut soon. Okay, where were we? Oh, squirrel. Yeah, right. Okay, back to the thing. Naomi could have been like Numbers, the book of Numbers, Lopa had. Now she didn't have the book of Numbers, but there was precedent. She could have been like, hey, let's talk about this. But no, the inheritance from the father through the son is so ingrained in their psyche, in their mindset. To them, this is like the law of the universe, period. And I mean, did they all have the Torah memorized? Did they have all the statutes of Moses memorized? No. Some, it's kind of like you go to churches today and they'll like say, well, the Bible says X, Y, and Z, and this, that, and the other. And we love God and Jesus because of this. And you go, wait, where is that in the Bible? And they're like, it's there. And you're like, can you find it for me? You hand them a Bible and they're like, they love Jesus. They love God. They might have things wrong. They're not very sure, but they're doing the best they can with what they have. And God honors that. They know God. I bet that's the same here. I bet these people, they don't go around reading Torah scrolls. They might not even have rabbis during the days. They don't have rabbis back then. They might not have had traveling teachers and such. During the days of the judges, everybody, there was no king. Everybody did what was right in their own sight. Everybody was spread apart. There was no central place to go, but they did go to feasts 3 times a year, and they were supposed to read the law of Moses. Did they? Maybe. They were supposed to tell each other this stuff by word of mouth, right? Where is it at? Gate, again, gate. Deuteronomy. Okay. Full chapters. Hear Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. Verse 4. And the Lord your God shall be your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Love them. Love the Lord. These words which I am commanding you today shall be on your heart. You shall repeat them diligently to your sons and speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk on the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. You shall also tie them as a sign to your hand. They shall be as frontlets on your forehead. You shall also write them on your doorposts of your house and gates. In other words, they were supposed to be repeating this stuff. They probably did, but hundreds of years of listening to it at least one of the feasts once a year, then going back and repeating this stuff, maybe were they so diligent as to always repeat it? A lot of times during the book of Kings, we're told, no, they're not. They're not. There's a found a, so during the time of the judges, whenever everybody's spread out, there's no king, there's no Jerusalem, which everybody like flocks to, even when there's not a feast. Sometimes they're like, hey, we should go. We should do this. I doubt that they're really trying Bible study big time. The New Testament, they had synagogues everywhere. They had rabbis and Pharisees that were like, we need to follow the law. They didn't have that during the days of the judges. Look at this. During the days of the kings, whenever there was a king and there were more prophets doing more stuff, and they had the temple that they would go to more often, you would think that, okay, a king, there were more prophets and more priests, the people are a little more unified, although there's a northern and a southern kingdom. The people in general it's more structured in the book of Kings. But even in the book of Kings, where's that? The lost book. Then Hilkiah, the high priest, said to Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord. He found it. Okay. Was it hiding? I don't get it. Look up here. Now in the 18th year of King Josiah, the king sent Shaphan, the son of Azaliah, the son of Meshullam, the scribe, to the house of the Lord, saying, so Josiah sends Shaphan to the house of the Lord. Okay, go up to Hilkiah the high priest, have him count all the money brought into the house of the Lord, which the doorkeepers have collected from the people, and have them handed over to the workmen who have oversight of the house of the Lord. Have them give it to the workmen who are in the house of the Lord to repair the damage of the house. So they got to repair the house of the Lord. It's fallen in shambles. Well, not shambles. I mean, things deteriorate. To the carpenters, the builders, the masons for buying timber and cut stone to repair the house. It sounds like a big repair project, but maybe not. I mean, maybe this is normal. I don't know. But during the time of the kings, Josiah, I'll just say this, he was on fire for God. So if the temple had been neglected, he was going to fix it. However, no accounting shall be made with the money handed over to them because they deal honestly. Okay, so they're fixing up the house. They're repairing the house. Okay, so Shaphan is there. He went up to the high priest. He told him all this stuff. Hilkiah. Shaphan, right here, went to Hilkiah the priest and told him all that stuff. Then Hilkiah the priest said to Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord. Doesn't Shaphan the scribe have the book of the law? When shouldn't Shaphan go, okay, we got a bunch of those. And Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan, who read it. Then Shaphan, he read it. Hadn't he read it? If he's a scribe, well, scribes in the New Testament would copy the books of the law and the books of the Old Testament, and like the prophets and the writings, and they would copy rules and such that the rabbis gave. So the scribes in the New Testament, they were smart. They knew their stuff. But in the Old Testament, the scribe probably just copied official documents of the king. Probably copied, the king's law, the king's edict. He copied that down. Then Shaphan the scribe came to the king and brought back word to the king saying, what did Shaphan, when he came back to the king? Your servants have emptied out the money that was found in the house, have handed it to the workmen who have oversight of the house of the Lord. Moreover, Shaphan the scribe informed the king saying, Hilkiah the priest has given me a book. A book. Wait, Hilkiah was like, I found the book of the Lord. Shaphan's like, hey, king, here's a book. Shaphan read it in the presence of the king. So Shaphan starts reading it, okay. Or he reads the whole thing. It would take a long time to read it. This is like all the stuff from Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. A bunch of that stuff is written down in his book. Try to read. Sit down right now, starting with the Exodus, whenever it starts talking about the tabernacle. I mean, there was even stuff about the Passover. Start with the Passover even. Start reading from there. Exodus chapter 12, I think, all the way through Deuteronomy. Maybe you can cut out some of the parts about Balaam and about fighting wars that they might not have written down that stuff, but just read the law portions. It'll take you forever. This dude, did he stand there for hours in front of the king and read? Maybe. Let's see what happened. When the king heard the words, of course the king knows the words, right? The king knows the words of the book of the law. He tore his clothes. Then the king, so he's like freaking out over the words. Why would he? He should know. He should know what the words are. He's the king. Then the king commanded Hilkiah the priest, Ahikam the son of Shaphan, Achbor the son of Micaiah, Shaphan the scribe, and Asaiah the king's servant, saying, all these people, he's going to tell them. What does he tell them? Go and he commanded them. He's the king. He's like, go inquire of the Lord for me and for the people and all Judah concerning the words of this book that has been found. It's like, did they know they had the book? They didn't have it. Go inquire of the Lord. He just read the book. That is, they don't know about the book. The book. What is the book? The book of the law. It's supposed to be read at the feast. For the wrath of the Lord that burns against us is great, because our fathers did not listen to the words of this book to act in accordance with everything that is written regarding us. Man, like, so all these people, they went to hold of the prophetess to ask God. Okay. But you can see, even like during the book of Kings, okay, hold of the prophetess. That's kind of cool. A woman prophet. You don't see many of those. All right. Even during the book of Kings, when you think they would be more organized, because there's a king, the king's got officials, there's a priest, the priest got officials, they got tons of Levites taking care of the temple. Even they don't know. Back here in Ruth, 100, 200 years, sometime before, a good amount of time before Josiah's story, a good amount of time before that, which means it was closer to the time of Moses, but it was still many, many decades after Moses that Ruth happens. Okay, you got Moses, they write this stuff down. You got Joshua, where they're beating all the people up in war. Then you got the time of the judges, 100, 200 years, you know, a good amount of time. And sometime in there, you have Ruth. Okay. That's still a long time for people to be getting stuff mixed up, to be like, tell it to your kids all the time. People aren't necessarily going to do that. You don't have tons of priests and prophets running around necessarily. And during the time of Judges, some of the priests and prophets we read about, not the best people anyway. People just seem to be doing whatever they want. Everybody did what was right in their own eye during the time of the Judges. So Naomi, back to Zelophehad, hey, why not take the president of Zelophehad? Let my daughter have the land, my daughter-in-law. But Ruth needs kids, right? She needs at least a boy. That's why they're going through this. Boaz is like, let's do this officially. Let's get her a son. And I will do that. I'll go in and sleep with her and give her a son. Right? Yeah. All right. I think I've talked about that long enough. Let's go over here. Moreover, oh, that's where we started, right? Okay, let's keep reading in. Okay. Oh, no. I was reading in the first chapter of Ruth. I don't think Ruth has any kids. They just never mention them. So, all right. Where is it at? Oh, this is Ruth chapter 1. All right. Let's go back to Ruth chapter 4. Go down. All right. Furthermore, I have acquired Ruth the Moabitus, the widow of Mahlon, to be my wife in order to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance, so that the name of the deceased will not be eliminated from his brothers or from the court of his birthplace. You are witnesses today. And all the people who were in the court, then all the people who were at the gate, see, that could be confusing. You suddenly read another translation. Let's say you pick up an NIV, which is very popular. Then the elders and all the people at the gate said, it's like, and then you go, wait a minute, what happened to court? Wait, elders and people? Wait, I thought it was all the people. Look, all the people. Then the elders and all the people. Wait, which is it? Oh, wait. Then all the people who were in the court and the elders, So that's why you need to get used to reading different translations. It will help you immensely. What did the elders and all the people say? We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, both of whom built the house of Israel. And may you achieve wealth in Ephrathah and become famous in Bethlehem. Why? Rachel and Leah, who built the house of Israel. Like, they took some hammer and nails and they built a house for their husband whose name was Israel. Wait, I thought Israel was a nation. Israel is a name of Jacob. Jacob's name, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob's name is changed to Israel. Okay, Jacob gets 2 wives, has a bunch of babies with them. We want to see this. Genesis 23. Death and burial of Sarah. Oh, wait, that's still Abraham. Okay, let's go to Genesis 29. You got Abraham, then you got Isaac, then you got Jacob. Jacob meets Rachel. Where is it at? Rachel. But that's Israel. And who's Leah? Let's go see. Then Jacob set out on his journey and went to the people of the east. He looked and saw a well in the field, and behold, 3 flocks of sheep were lying there beside it, because they watered the first. Let's go find this. Jacob, Israel. Genesis 32:28. 32:28 right there. Then he said, your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel. For you have contended with God and with men and have prevailed. Full chapter. Jacob's fear of Esau. All right, let's go down here. Then Jacob was left alone. So up here, we're going to read a few verses. Jacob went on his way. Angels of God met him. That's good. Okay. Jacob sent messengers ahead of himself to his brother Esau. The messenger returned to Jacob, saying, we came to your brother Esau, and furthermore, he is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed. He divided the people who were with him and the flocks, the herds, and the camels into two companies. If Esau comes to the one company and attacks it, then the company which is left will escape. Okay, he's trying to be smart. Then Jacob said, God of my father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so he's praying to him. That's good. So he spent the night there. Okay, so Jacob spends the night wherever he's at. They talk about going to Esau and such. Here, now Jacob got up the same night and took his 2 wives, his 2 female slaves, his 11 children, across the shallow place of the Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream, and he sent across whatever he had. Jacob sent everything across the stream. He divided all his stuff up. He divided it all up into 2 parts. Then Jacob was left alone. I guess he stayed on that side of the stream. He sent them across. And a man wrestled with him until daybreak. Wait, where did this man come from? A man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that, why are they wrestling? What happened? Did somebody like attack Jacob? What if Jacob thought it was Esau? I mean, what in the world is this? A man wrestled with him. It gives no explanation whatsoever. Okay, kind of weird. Jacob's left alone, and the man wrestled with him. It doesn't say, and he saw a man, and the man was like, "Who are you?" And Jacob was like, "I am Jacob." And the guy's like, "Fight me!" And then you'd still be like, "What in the world?" You know? Okay. When the man saw that he had not prevailed against Jacob, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was dislocated while he wrestled with him. Then he said, I think it's the man, let me go, for the dawn is breaking. But he said, okay, so then he said, let me go. But he said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. So he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. Then he said him, okay, let me go, for the dawn is breaking. But he said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. So he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. So he said, Jacob. So he said, what is your name? Must be the man. Okay. Must be the man. He said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. That doesn't tell us. Okay, let's keep reading. Then he said, your name shall no longer be Jacob. So this is the man. Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel. For you have contended with God and with men and have prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, please tell me your name. But the man said, why is it you ask my name? And he blessed him there. Jacob blessed the man there. We assume that the man blessed Jacob by changing his name. So up here, let me go, for dawn is breaking, is the man. I will not let you go unless you bless me, as Jacob. Jacob wants a blessing from the man. So the man said, what is your name? Jacob said, Jacob. The man said, your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have contended with God and with men and have prevailed. A lot of people think that this man is an angel, the angel of the Lord. They think it's God, right? A lot of people think that. He's contended with God and with man. Wrestled. Let's see. Genesis, no. Angel. No. Looking for Hosea. Angel. Hosea, angel. 12:4. Perfect. Hosea 12:4. Ephraim feeds on wind and pursues the east wind continually. That's not a good thing. He multiplies lies and violence. Yep. Moreover, he makes a covenant with Assyria, and oil is brought to Egypt instead of trusting God. He's making covenant. Ephraim, or the northern nation of Israel, is trusting Assyria and Egypt instead of God. The Lord also has a case against Judah, not just Ephraim or the northern nation of Israel, but also against Judah, the southern nation of Judah, and will punish Jacob according to his ways. He will repay him according to his deeds. It seems like it's calling Jacob Judah. And the Lord has a case against Judah and will punish Judah according to his ways. But it uses the name Jacob. Why? Because Jacob is the head of Israel. But I thought Israel was a northern nation. Israel is both nations that was in Okay, it was one nation called Israel, which split in two. The southern nation retains and keeps the name of the tribe Judah. The northern nation retains the name Israel. Get confusing yet? So he can speak of the northern nation of Israel as Jacob, but he could also speak of the southern nation of Judah as Jacob. The northern nation of Israel could be called Jacob. The southern nation of Judah could be called Jacob. Oh man, why do they confuse us that way? God will repay Jacob, Judah, according to his deeds. In the womb, he took his brother by the heel. Jacob took Esau by the heel. That's right. And in his mature strength, he contended with God. Yes, he wrestled with the angel and prevailed. He wept and implored his favor. He found him at Bethel, and he spoke with us. And the Lord, the God of armies, the Lord is Jacob's name. Wrestled with an angel and prevailed. When did Jacob wrestle with an angel? The story we're reading. He prevailed against God, right? In the womb, in Genesis, when Jacob and Esau were born, it says Jacob's hand was grabbing the heel of Esau. So you got two twins. They're fighting in the womb. When Esau comes out, Jacob's still grabbing Esau. In the womb, he took his brother by the heel. In his mature strength, he contended with God. Where was that at over here? Oh, that's another one. Then Jacob was left alone. A man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he had not prevailed against him, over here, yet he wrestled with the angel and prevailed. In his womb, he took his brother by the heel. So he was wrestling in the womb and here. So yeah, wrestle with an angel. He contended with God, we're told in Hosea. That's crazy stuff. Why did I mention all this? Oh no, I'm lost. Oh, so Jacob's name is changed right here to Israel by God. What is your name? By an angel, which represents God. Remember, Shaphan and Josiah. Josiah the king sent Shaphan to talk to Hilkiah the priest and tell him all the stuff about the temple. The story, we just talked about that. Shaphan went to Hilkiah and said, here's what you should do, Hilkiah. Shaphan then went back to the king and read the book of the law, told the king all this stuff. If Hilkiah had been like, I don't care about you, Shaphan, go away, it would have just been like, it'd have been exactly like him snubbing the king. We don't think about it that way today, but back then, if you are sent by authority, you are basically have the authority of the person that sent you. That's the way they looked at it, right? Okay. It even said, like, Josiah told Shaphan, hey, you're going to go do this, that. You're going to give this stuff to the carpenters. You're going to give them the money. And it said, and Shaphan said to Hilkiah the scribe, it doesn't say, so Shaphan then walked to Hilkiah the scribe. It just is like goes straight from the king telling Shaphan to Shaphan telling the scribe. To Shaphan telling the priest. Like there's no break. It's basically the king telling Hilkiah. So here we basically got Jacob wrestling with the angel, with God. Some people will say, no, this is God. It's God in human flesh. It's a theophany. It's a Christophany. It's an Old Testament appearing of Jesus. Some people will say that. It could be both. I don't see why not, but we're not told. We are told he wrestled with an angel. He contended with God, and he did. He contended with God by wrestling with God's angel. He also contended with God by praying like crazy. What was it up here? Where's it at? Then Jacob said, God of my father Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of my father Isaac, Lord, who said to me, return to your country, to your relatives, and I will make you prosper. I am unworthy of all the favor and all the faithfulness which you have shown your servant. Okay. Save me, please, from the hand of my brother, for I fear him. For you said, I will assuredly make your, so please save me, God. My brother's coming to get me, please. Is he contending with God? Maybe, kind of. He doesn't trust God's going to save him, but he does. He's like praying to God, please, God. He does this several times. He prays to God, please, please save me. That's what we're told to do anyway by Jesus. So, there's other times whenever it's said like he contended with God because he did dumb things. And God's like, you're really trying my patience, Jacob, basically. So Jacob's name is changed to Israel. Over here, Jacob sets on his journey, went and saw the people of the east. He looked, saw a well in the field. Behold, 3 flocks of sheep were lying beside it. All right, down here. While Jacob was speaking with the people at the well, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. Watch this. When Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of his mother's brother Laban, so hey, his mother's brother, like his uncle, or maybe his uncle-in-law. So hey, this person is related to Jacob. This is part of Jacob's family. Sweet. Up here. It is well, and here's the daughter of Rachel coming with the sheep. Okay. When Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of his mother's brother Laban, there at the well, and the sheep of his mother's brother Laban, Jacob went and rolled the stone from the mouth of the well. That's good. Get her some water. There's a stone covering the mouth of the well. Jacob sees Rachel, sees all the sheep, rolls that stone away. Jacob's like, hey, you're my daughter. You're related. You know, we're related. Not, you know, I mean, we're cousins, you know. Right here. He watered the flock of his mother's brother Laban. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and raised his voice and wept. Kissed Rachel, like not romantically, because hey, you're related. But then he raised his voice and wept. Jacob told Rachel that he was a relative of her father and that he was Rebekah's son. Rebekah is Isaac's wife. Isaac and Rebekah is related also to Laban. She ran and told her father. So when Laban heard the news about Jacob, his sister's son, he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him. See, not romantic. And brought him to his house. Then he told Laban all the things. All right. Now, look at this. Then Laban said to Jacob, because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for nothing? I guess Jacob was doing work for Laban. Tell me, what shall be your wages be? This is before Esau, the incident that I read, right? Genesis 32, Jacob wrestles. He's afraid of Esau. Genesis 29. So Jacob ran away from Esau. Now he finds relatives, Laban. He finds people related to Isaac and Rebekah. Hey, good. He finds family. He finds kin. Then Laban said to Jacob, because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what shall be your wages? Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older was Leah. The name of the younger was Rachel. Rachel, we've already been told. Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful in figure and appearance. Now Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, I will serve you for 7 years for your younger daughter, Rachel. Okay. Laban's treachery. Oh, so Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him only like a few days because of his love for her. Oh, how sweet. Then Jacob said to Laban, give me my wife, for my time is completed, that I may have relations with her. Oh, man, he gets straight to the point, huh? Let's go make babies. So Laban gathered all the people of the place and held a feast. Now in the evening, he took his daughter Leah. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel. Now Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, I will serve you 7 years for your younger daughter, Rachel. Laban gathered all the people together and held a feast. Now in the evening, he took his daughter Leah, brought her to him, and Jacob had relations with her. I'm thinking they were feasting. Laban got Jacob pretty drunk. Maybe it's dark. I mean, if you're gonna have relations with somebody, I mean, how does this happen? Why does he not see that it's Leah instead of Rachel? It doesn't explain it in the story, but that's kind of what we think, you know. We kind of assume. Like there's a time when it says Mary Magdalene was crying. She was looking in a tomb. She was like weeping over Jesus because Jesus wasn't there. She's like, where is he? And then she hears a voice behind her. So she's looking into a dark, empty tomb. She's crying. Then she turns around. And of course, it's bright and sun, you know, out inside, you know, it's brighter than it was in a tomb. She's got like tears in her eyes and she sees someone. She thinks it's a gardener. Why are you weeping, my daughter? And she's like, where have you taken Jesus? Then Jesus touches her and says, Mary. And then Mary suddenly recognizes him. So, I mean, you know, she's looking in a dark tomb. She's got tears in her eyes. She's freaking out. Her mindset is all messed up. She turns around. She sees him. You know, it's bright. She's still got tears in her eyes. She sees Jesus, but she thinks it's somebody else. You know, I mean, it makes sense, right? Sometimes you're just disconfigured. Right here. That's John chapter like 19 or 20, if you want to go look at it. where I was reading in Ruth chapter 3. It says Boaz woke up in the middle of the night, startled that there was somebody at his feet. Who are you? And she's like, I'm Ruth. Okay. And he's like, oh my, he's startled. He just woke up, so. And it was after a night of feasting and eating. Whenever they would feast, God told them, hey, drinking is not a bad thing. Don't get drunk. But hey, maybe, Jacob wasn't if you read the story of Jacob, he wasn't exactly the most moral character around. So. My cup makes a funny noise when I drink. It's got this little air hole up here. Listen to this, listen. I took a drink and it didn't make a noise that time. Okay, listen again real close. I promise. It makes a funny noise. I think it's whenever it's my cup right now. The water's down here, whenever it's all the way up here. Also, this has fishing lures, if you can see that. I found that at my church. I have no interest in fishing whatsoever. It's just not fun to me. My brother liked to do it. My grandfather liked to do it. I was even in Boy Scouts. I even taught fishing merit badge. No fun. I never liked it. But free cup. Hey, it was at my church. Nobody wanted it. I cleaned it out really well with some bleach, of course, Free cup. Okay. Back to the Bible. What are we doing? All right. Laban also gave his female slave Zilpah to his daughter Leah as a slave. Okay, good. So we got Leah goes in, has relations with Jacob. Essentially, she is now married to Jacob. They have consecrated the marriage through having relations. And hey, Leah gets a servant, Zilpah. Good. That's probably what Zilpah knew. That's probably what Zilpah liked doing. Zilpah was like, hey, I'm a servant. Let's serve. So it came about in the morning that behold, it was Leah! ! And Jacob said to Laban, he's probably got a hangover. He's probably like, he's probably really sleepy. What is this that you have done to me? Was it not for Rachel that I served with you? Why then have you deceived me? Jacob is known for deceiving people. He's getting his comeuppance. If you read through the story of Jacob, like he's not deceiving left and right, maybe, I don't know, but a lot of people talk about deceive. He's a deceiver. Esau calls Jacob that deceiver. And people they make a big deal. I hear preachers and teachers make a big deal out of that. Deceiver. Anyway, but Laban said, okay, now why are we reading this? Let's not forget. May the Lord make your woman who is coming into your home, the woman. May the Lord make the woman, that is Ruth, who's coming into your home, that is Boaz, like Rachel and Leah, both of whom built the house of Israel. So we know Jacob is Israel. From whom let's look at the NLT. May the Lord make this woman who is coming into your home, like Rachel and Leah, from whom all the nation of Israel descended. Okay. Who together built the house of Israel. Okay. And over here, it just says, who built the house of Israel. Yeah. So the nation of Israel. Why is it called Israel? Because Jacob's name was changed to Israel. He had 12 sons, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Got too many. Only got 5 tabs, I guess. Not too much. Okay. Then Jacob said to Laban, okay, what is this that you have done to me? Was it not Rachel that I served with you? It was not. Was it not for Rachel? Okay. Why have you then deceived me? But Laban said, it is not the practice in our place to marry off the younger before the firstborn. Complete the week of this one. That means a week could be 7 days or 7 years. So either he's saying complete the 7 years, but he already has. So maybe he's saying complete the week. Like supposedly marriage ceremonies lasted longer back then. A marriage ceremony for a whole week. Whoa. I'm thinking this probably means complete the work week for Leah. In other words, 7 years. Because like right here, complete the week of this one. And we will give you the other also. We will give you Rachel also for the service for which you shall serve with me for another 7 years. I would be incensed, but Jacob did so and completed her week, and he gave his daughter Rachel as his wife. Okay, maybe, so it's either the week of years or it's that week and then he's got 2 wives. Now he's got 2 wives, man. What? I'm guessing it means the, well, it does say, and he served Laban another 70. I'm not sure if it's the week of years or if it's, most people think, oh, it's the week of the wedding. It's not entirely clear because we put the sentence structure together in English, but in Hebrew, sometimes the sentence structure is a little wonky. I bet, in fact, just for fun, even though we're getting off topic a little bit. What is that? Genesis 29. Right here, Ruth, Genesis, verse, chapter 29, go. Okay, let's see. Way down near the very bottom. Okay, now in the evening, he took his daughter Leah, okay, down here, Zilpah, wasn't it for Rachel that I worked for you? Why have you deceived me? It is not the custom in our country. But hey, he's your family. Laban was like, your family, I'm treating you like family. Then he's like, it's not the custom in our country. Like, come on, dude. Whatever. Well, of course, I'm adding the inflection, but maybe Laban's being completely honorable. Maybe he's like, look, in our country, it's really not. I mean, you are our family, yes, but this is another place now. Okay. Let's read. Okay, the bridal daughter. Okay. Complete the week of this one, and we will give you the other also in return for serving me another 7 years. Jacob did so and completed her week. Okay, let's read this. Complete my older daughter's bridal week. Then we will give you the younger one too. That's Rachel, in exchange for 7 more years of work. Jacob did as Laban said. When Jacob completed Leah's bridal week, Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife. So the NET makes it sound like the week is the bridal week, the 7 days. What if it is 7 years? What if a bridal week lasts 7 years? I'm not saying a wedding lasts 7 years, but like, I'll stay married to you 7 years. Then we know it's complete. Now you can marry another woman. What if there was some kind of thing like that? I don't recall that in the Bible. Of course, we don't have that in modern day America today. Some countries of the world, they still have stuff like that, multiple wives, and hey, whoever you sleep with, that's who you're married to, and stuff like that. Oh, you need to be married for this many days, then consecrate the marriage for that many days, and stay married for this many years. And it's different steps of official. You're kind of married, now you're almost married, now you're really married. But no, now you're really married. It's like different. They do it all. In America, we're like, hey, I love you, you too, let's date. We get engaged. People even break out the engagement. Then they go to the courthouse or to the church. They have a piece of paper. They can even get divorced then. It's all free. It's all loosey-goosey. For Christians, one wife, married to one husband for life. There we go. So that's why it's strange to us, because the culture's like our culture in modern day America, it's all loosey-goosey, and it's just a government thing, and it's just you can get divorced anytime, and then we got to go get lawyers, and I know we were engaged, but I hate you now. Other countries, no, we have strict rules. This is exactly how it's going to be. It's going to be this, that, and the other. You're going to do it this way and that way. And in Christianity, one man loves one woman. They get married in the sight of God for life. I mean, that's simple. I'm not trying to be controversial by saying for life. I do think there are exceptions, but even that's controversial. But that's not what we're getting into here. I was just explaining the differences in the culture. We're reading the Bible and it's confusing to us, and we're like, pull a hair out. That's just the way it is. I'll go like this sometimes. I scratch my head, I look like a monkey, then I scratch it. Sorry, guys. Okay. Finish the Catholic one here. Finish the bridal week. Okay. There's a little note. The bridal week in ancient wedding lasted for 7 days. Judges 14:12 and 17. Let's go look at Judges 14:12 and 17. Why not? And Catholics know what they're talking about usually on some things, a lot of things. Even I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. You know. Oh, Samson. Now, Rachel and Leah were many decades before Samson, but traditions continue. You know, they remain, they continue, they change, but they also retain their basic. They also retain stuff for a longer time than nowadays. Nowadays, things change so fast. Back then, stuff didn't change as fast, but there were some minor changes. But let's see. What did it say? Chapter 17, Samson's riddle, verse 17. Okay. Then he came about on the fourth day. They said to say, entice your husband, so he will tell us that we will burn your father. Yikes. All right. What did the, right here, Judges 14:12 and 17:12. And Samson said to them, let me now propose a riddle for you. If you actually tell me the answer within the 7 days of the feast and solve the riddle, I will then give you 30 linen wraps and 30 outfits of clothes. Clothes were valuable stuff back then. Okay. Samson went down to Timnah. He saw a woman in Timnah. So he came back and told his father and mother, I saw a woman in Timnah, one of the daughters of the Philistines. So now go get her for me as a wife. So he wants to get married. So now he's getting married to her down here. Verse 17. However, this chick from Timnah, she wept before him for 7 days while their feast lasted. On the seventh day, he told her the answer to the riddle. Okay. I guess you could see a bridal week, I guess. Finish this daughter's bridal week. Complete this week of the wedding celebration. Okay, so I'm wrong. I was like, we're not really sure. They all think it's a bridal week. Okay, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the perfect amount of translations, right? 7 days, 7 weeks, 7 translations. No, because these two over here, they don't say bridal week. I'm going to keep reading down the NET. Jacob did as Laban said. When Jacob completed Leah's bridal week, Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife. So he's got 2 wives within a span of 7 days. So he didn't have to work for 7 years, but now that he is married, he is obligated to work for 7 years. Jacob had marital relations with Rachel as well. He loved Rachel more than Leah. So he worked for Laban for 7 more years. Okay. I guess. Now, here's the crazy part. How did Rachel and Leah build the house of Israel? Remember, everything's about babies, having babies, need babies, sons specifically. We need sons to carry all the stuff about the inheritance. I'm just going to read this. I'm going to try to read it kind of quick because I see my time where I'm doing the mouse down here at the very bottom. Y'all can't see it, but there's a timer there. It says 1 hour and 6 minutes. I'm not sure how long I've been going, but I don't want to go super long. So I don't want to 1 hour and 45 minutes later. These usually around 1 hour to 1 hour and 20 minutes. All right. So remember, Jacob's got Rachel and he's got Bilhah. Rachel's got Leah and he's got, what is it, Zilpah? Yeah, maidservant Zilpah. So, okay, Zilpah and Leah, Rachel and Bilhah. Okay. Jacob's children. Okay, here we go. I'm going to read here. Let's read it in Bible Gateway. That was, what is it? Genesis 32. Jacob wrestled. No. I lost it. Genesis 19. Probably not. Sodom. Man, I just had it. Y'all are like, BJ, we remember what it is. See, I don't even remember. I'm like, I'll study the Bible with you. Then I don't even remember. 27. Jacob's deception. Okay, I know what that is. Jacob is sent away, right? Jacob's dream. Here's 29. Jacob meets Rachel. Wait, I thought that was when they sent the Rachel right here. Right. I'm sorry, guys. Laban's treachery. All right. Laban's treachery. Give me my wife. It is not the practice in our place to marry off the younger. Right here, Laban also got his female slave, Bilhah. Okay, so Rachel, Bilhah, Leah, and Zilpah. Zilpah and Bilhah are, of course, the, slaves, the servants, whatever they are, whatever they are. It's the reason I'm like slave service. It sounds really bad to our ears, slaves, but that was a common, normal, everyday thing, and they weren't chattel slavery, like they're locked up. You beat the mess out of them. You feed them only just enough to keep them alive. They work for you for 20 hours a day with minimal sleep. I'm not saying they were. I mean, it was a rough. It was a more rough time back then in general, but don't think of the same. Don't think of slavery in the American South. So, all right, here we go. Laban for another 7 years. Okay, here we go. Now the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was unable to have children. Leah conceived and gave birth to a son and named him Reuben, one of Israel's first sons, the first son of Israel. For she said, because the Lord has seen my affliction, surely now my husband will love me, because Leah was less loved. Then she conceived again and gave birth to a son. So he's having relations with Rachel, but also Leah. Okay, they're still sleeping together, and said, because the Lord has heard me that I am unloved, he has therefore given me this son also. So she named him Simeon. So you got Reuben and Simeon, two of the 12 tribes of Israel. And she conceived again and gave birth to a third son and said, now this time my husband will become attached to me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore his name was Levi. And she conceived again and gave birth to a son. This time I will praise the Lord. Therefore she named him Judah. Then she stopped having sons. 4 sons in a row right there. How many years in a row was that? I don't know. It had to be at least 4 years in a row, I guess. Now, when Rachel saw that she had not borne Jacob any children, she became jealous of her sister. So Rachel, she's barren right now. And she said to Jacob, give me children or else I'm going to die. Then Jacob's anger burned against Rachel, and he said, am I in the place of God who has withheld from you fruit of the womb? Then she said, so he's like, dude, Rachel, I'm not God. I can't give you children. Then Rachel said, here's my female slave, Bilhah. Have relations with her. Yeah, we would not do that today. I don't think God approved of it, but God, hey, he uses even our worst and craziest and strangest mistakes and screw up. He uses our weird stuff for his good. If I didn't have a God that could do that, then I wouldn't know what to do with myself. If I did not have a God that worked through BJ's messed up weird things, then God would never love me. Because like 99% of my life is like just total bizarre. All right, I'm glad to have a God that works through my sins and my shortcomings and my mistakes. So she gave him her slave Bilhah as a wife, and Jacob had relations with her. Bilhah conceived and bore Jacob a son. Then Rachel said, God has vindicated me. Even though Bilhah had the daughter, it's Rachel's daughter, because Rachel is the official. Yeah. Oh, the son. I'm sorry, the son. God has vindicated me and has indeed heard my voice and has given me a son. Therefore, she named him Dan. Rachel's slave Bilhah conceived again. Oh, so he's sleeping with the servant more. So Rachel said, with mighty wrestling, I have wrestled with my sister. Come on, look, y'all have a dysfunctional family. And I have indeed prevailed. So she named him Naphtali. So you can see all these Naphtali and Dan are 2 more tribes of Israel. 2 more tribes of Israel. So basically they're building the house of Jacob. Yes, I just blew my nose. So basically they're doing the house of Jacob. They're building the house of Jacob through all these sons. Now, why would the people here, where is it at? May the woman who is coming into your house, into your home, may the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah. Why would they say that whenever this is weird circumstances? Okay. Why would they go, hey, Jacob, who like connived and like treated everybody? Sorry, guys. Who was conniving and who's deceptive, treated everybody weird. Why would we take a story with a dysfunctional family where they're having sex with their servants? The father-in-law is giving away the wrong daughter. Jacob's like, I can't do anything for you. God's doing all this weird stuff. Why would they be like, we hope Ruth is like them? They venerated people in the past just in general. Just in general. If they were good people, even if they were bad people, they would kind of venerate them as good. Well, we can look at that in the next Bible study long, because this one's getting kind of long, the next Bible, but we'll look at more of that. They just kind of venerated people. They lifted them high. They honored them, anyway. That's just what they did back then. Like there was respect, even if it wasn't necessarily due, for the deceased. Okay. B, maybe we could see Rachel and Leah. They're building the house, at least as far as giving a bunch of sons. Wait, what about Zilpah and Bilhah? They were just the servants. Just like Shaphan, the servant of the king, went to Hilkiah. Then Hilkiah went back to the king. Okay. Zilpah and Bilhah were kind of like, they were just servants who Rachel was having babies through. And later, Leah would have babies through her servant. That's the way it was. Sounds wrong, barbaric, sounds crude, sounds horrible to us today. I agree. To them, it was normal. And like I said, God worked through their weirdness. Okay. We're thinking that would psychologically damage those servants. Not if that's the way they grew up and that's what they expected all their life. They expected just to be moral. We're just going to swipe the morality under the rug. God, I'm trying to say God works with people where they're at. He does it all over the Bible. He even does it. Jesus does it, sometimes. Uh-oh. I know. I'm glad God works with us where we're at. I mean, that's just what it is. So building them like Rachel and Leah built the house because all the kids that they had, and building it because, hey, they were the wife of Jacob, who is Israel, who the nation of Israel was built on. That's where they came from. That's kind of the way they looked at it. So, and may you achieve wealth in Ephrathah and become famous in Bethlehem. Okay. They could have said achieve wealth like Solomon, but Solomon was a king, and we're not in the time of the kings yet. Couldn't have said that. I tricked you. Yeah. Oh, and look down here, just real quick. Moreover, may your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, through the descendants whom the Lord will give you by this young woman. So, over here, and may the Lord give you descendants by this young woman, who will be like those of our ancestor Perez, the son of Tamar and Judah. Tamar and Judah also had a messed up family. In fact, I think Tamar and Judah was even worse. We'll read about that next time. We'll read about God working through people's craziness, Stop share. Okay, guys. This one maybe has been disturbing. Servants and sleeping with the wrong person and stuff and kissing random people, But we're learning. We're trying to put ourselves in their culture and see through their eyes so that we can see through God's eyes. I'm not saying their eyes are God's eyes. I'm saying if we can understand their culture, then we can see their culture, hopefully, from a God's eye perspective. How was God working through all the shenanigans and all the buffoonery and all the messed upness, all the sin? How was God working through it? We can see that. I like that. All right, guys, let's pray real quick. We'll be done. Lord God, thank you much for loving us. Thank you much for helping us. Thank you much for working through my sin and for redeeming my sin through your son, Jesus, through his work on the cross, through his resurrection from the dead. You are just so wonderful to us, Lord, that you would take our mess ups and screw ups and you would be good to us anyway and use them for our good and for your glory. Amen. See y'all on the next Very Basic Bible.